And hello and welcome to Arts and Entertainment. I'm Deborah Gilbert, your host, and as always, it's so great to have you. Thank you for tuning in. And as always, I hope you enjoy the show. Well, we're going to highlight the Little Theatre of Manchester at Cheney Hall, and I have the pleasure of having two actors who are going to be performing in Neil Simon's play Rumors coming up in February on the 6th through the 22nd. And I have Debbie Polakaitis and Jim Highland, again, both actors, as my guests today. And Debbie and Jim, thank you so much for being here. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having us.
And thank you very much for having us.
And what I like to do in the beginning of the show is introduce the guest to the viewer. So Debbie, let's start with you. Why don't you take us back into your background? Let us get to know you.
Oh, sure. Thank you. Yeah, I'm from Wisconsin, where I was involved in community theater, president, and stage, performer, worked backstage, did all those sort of things, and moved to Connecticut about 15 years ago, and walked into a volunteer open house here at Cheney Hall, and I haven't left. And so I've been performing on stage here in many productions, musicals, and so on. And last year I just did Plaza Suite. And so I just love Neil Simon so much, so I decided to get back on stage again. So here I am.
Did you know?
And I work at the Little Theatre of Manchester as well.
Oh, okay. Another question I always ask my performers is, did you know growing up that you were going to be an actor? Was that something that was going to be part of your plan?
You know, I didn't. It's kind of funny. I was tending bar, and the local community theater director, they used to come in after rehearsals and have a drink and that sort of thing. And he says to me, "You should be on stage." And so he staged a coup, so to speak, and he arranged to have somebody else in cover by shift. And he came in and he drugged me to an audition on the spot. And so I auditioned and I got a part in the show, and then I just kind of fell in love from that point. So that's how I got in theater. I just was in high school, I was in choir and that sort of thing, but.
And that was your love, was theater, I guess, your first step into it. Has theater always been your love?
You know, it has been since the late 90s. I haven't been able to do pretty much anything else. And I think if you talk to other actors and performers and kids, crew and that sort of thing, that's what kind of happens to you. You get sucked in, and then before you know it, you can't stop.
And Jim, let's also introduce you to the viewer. If you would just take some time and let us get to know you, that would be great.
Okay, sure. I'm Jim Highland, and I was born in Hartford, Connecticut, in Dutch Point. But my family lived in a lot of places, including like Springfield, Massachusetts, and in New York and Queens and in the Bronx. And so we moved around a lot. I did set out to be an actor at one point, but I sort of was in the New York scene, and it was kind of tough and kind of, I had some success, but long story short, I had to get a real job, and I ended up coming back to Connecticut. I worked as a corrections officer, believe it or not. I have retired, and I got back into the theater, and I've been extremely fortunate to have a lot of great experiences in the theater here in Connecticut. I've worked at Little Theater before. I did a play called Sons of the Prophet, and happened to star Mitch Hess, who was in the play we're doing now, and that was a great experience. I've worked with several companies all around Connecticut. I've had a lot of great recently working in the theater. So it wasn't my first. I set out to be an actor kind of late in life. So, but it is a great passion, and it's a great opportunity, and I just love it.
Well, you're saying that theater and being an actor was not the beginning of your life's path. When did it hit you that that's what you wanted to do?
Well, it hit me probably when I was in my late 20s, and I sort of went about. I should have gone to school for it, but I didn't, and I kind of went out and did what a lot of people do in New York. You just sort of do that. You rush and try to see what you get. And I did actually have a little bit of experience, but a little bit of success. But I think I just was following a lot of paths in those days. I wasn't terribly focused, but I'm like I said, my life took me in a different. I ended up going into the corrections, and I certainly learned a lot. You deal with a lot of people, and you deal with a lot of very intense situations, and you learn how people respond in crisis, and it helped me greatly as an actor.
And so, at what age did you decide that you were going to pursue an acting career? How did you find theater in general, or did you find the Little Theater of Manchester right away?
Well, actually, when I decided to get back into theater, I went to the Hartford Stage Company. I took a bunch of classes there, and I was in their actor studio training, and I went from there and I started auditioning. The first place I auditioned was the Goshen Players, believe it or not, was quite a hike. But I went from there to Capitol Classics, which does Shakespeare at St. Joseph's Theater, and everyone knew the reputation of the Little Theater of Manchester. They're one of the best theaters you could work for. And I auditioned a couple times, and I didn't have any luck. And then I got hired for Sons of the Prophet. And that was a great experience. And I was very happy to see that they were doing Rumors. I love this play. And they're just they're just an extremely well-organized, extremely satisfying place to work for. So I love the Little Theater. It's a great reputation.
Debbie, how did you find the Little Theater of Manchester? I know you're involved. Your title has Associate Theater Manager, but yet I was told to call you an actor. How did you get involved in the theater?
Sure, yeah. Well, you can call me all those things. That's okay. Yeah, when my husband and I moved here, we were living across the street in the apartments. And the first weekend that we were in town, there was a volunteer open house. So we walked in that day and we took the tour, and I signed up. I tried out for Drowsy Chaperone and I didn't get a part, but they called me a couple weeks later and somebody had dropped out. So they asked me if I was interested, and I jumped on the chance to get in here. And so that's how I got involved. I just started helping out at the box office a few hours a week as a volunteer. And then I was offered the position. At that time, it was about 15 hours a week, and it's evolved over the years into something bigger, which is great. So I've actually, my 9-year anniversary of working at the Little Theater in Manchester is coming up in February. So very proud to call it my
congratulations. But I will ask you the history of the Little Theater of Manchester at Cheney Hall. A lot of people may have been there, may not have been there, have never heard of it, have heard of it. What are your thoughts? Tell us about the history of the theater.
Sure. Well, it was built in 1867, and it is Connecticut's oldest continuously operating theater. It was built as a performance center for the Cheney brothers employees, for the silk mills all around us. So it's always been that. Other than maybe a couple of years in there for like the Spanish flu and that sort of thing, it's really has quite it's a big part of the community, and I'm very proud to call it, where I work, and I'm very proud of the theater company that we are. So I'm sorry.
And what made the theater, Debbie, move as the Little Theater of Manchester? It's at Cheney Hall. How did that relationship happen?
Well, I'm not exactly clear of that, but I do know that it was all originally downtown Manchester. And then Cheney Hall in 1990 was acquired by a hardy group of individuals that took up the fundraising and renovation of it. And then we have a lease now with the town of Manchester.
Okay, and Jim, how did you get involved with Neil Simon's Rumors is going to be performed, and you and Debbie are in that? How was the audition process for that?
Well, I knew it would be competitive. I knew there would be a lot of people wanting to do this show. I got there. I was fortunate. I walked in and I saw an old friend, Debbie Freund, who was back working with the theater. And I thought, well, that's good because we've worked together. It was, they were very sharp, very, there's basically, I went downstairs, there was a room full of people, and I thought, well, just go up and do your best. And I had already, I did it, I got a monologue from The Odd Couple. I thought I'd do something by Neil Simon. And came in, and they just sort of walked me up. I did it. It went quite well. I was happy with it because I was a little nervous about the audition. But and they're very, even though there was a room full of people, it went quickly. They handled it very well. There's other theater companies, God bless them, sometimes they get overwhelmed, and it's not quite that, it's not run quite as concisely, and that can. So this is a very funny play, and it gives you an opportunity to really show your comedy chops. So a lot of good actors wanted to be in it, so I knew that it was going to be tough competition. But so I was happy to get the role. It's you're working with professionals, with people who really know what they're doing.
Okay, Debbie, I'll ask you that question when we come back from the break. I'm Deborah Gilbert. You're tuned in to Arts and Entertainment. We are going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
Better Business Bureau is warning residents about Eastern Transportation and Rentals, a Coventry-based company accused of taking money for airport rides and never showing up. 24 travelers say they prepaid for rides to Boston Logan and JFK airports through owner Mitch Cloder, but were left stranded and out hundreds of dollars. Some say they were promised refunds that never came. The Connecticut Department of Transportation confirms the company does not have a valid livery permit or business license. Police in multiple towns have issued arrest warrants for Cloder. Now, if you need a ride service, always check a company's reputation at bbb.org. Ask to see their permit and insurance, and avoid paying through peer-to-peer apps. Use a credit card instead. It offers more protection if something goes wrong. Don't let travel plans turn into trouble. Report scams anytime at bbb.org/scamtracker.
And welcome back to Arts and Entertainment. I'm Deborah Gilbert, your host, and as always, it's so great to have you. Thank you for being here. We're talking about the Little Theater of Manchester at Cheney Hall, and that's based in Manchester, Connecticut. And Debbie, what I was talking to Jim about before the break was the audition process. How did you find out that Rumors was going to be performed there, and how was the audition process for you?
Well, like so many people, auditions can be completely nerve-wracking, and this was no exception. Like Jim said, there were a lot of people here, a lot of competition, and so you just have to kind of go in there, and you have to just like lay everything out on the table and just give it your best, and just go for it. And sometimes it works, and sometimes you're just the right person that they need, and sometimes there's a connection, and sometimes it just happens to be you and your scene partner happen to click, and they like the way that looks. So there's a lot of variables in there. So I'm very excited to be part of this cast. And let me tell you, they are so funny. We are dying laughing during the rehearsals. We're having a great time.
Oh, yes.
And Debbie, also the play Rumors by Neil Simon, a lot of people may not have heard of it or don't know what it's all about. Can you tell us what your thoughts are as to what the play is about?
Sure. So it's kind of a dinner party it's a 10th anniversary party, and one of the, oh gosh, I'm sorry. Jim, you want to take over?
Well, what has happened is the couple, the main couple, who is Ken and Chris, have planned this great 10th anniversary dinner party for the Brocks. However, there's been an incident where Charlie has injured himself with a accidental gunshot, and they're trying to cover it up. They don't want scandal. They don't want police involved. They don't want it, and everyone's very image conscious. So the couples arrive. There's I feel stupid here. There's three couples. There's Ken and Chris, but there's also Claire and Lenny, and then there's Ernie and Cookie, and that's me and Debbie. And there's a younger couple named Glenn Cooper and his wife Cassie. And they gradually come in, and at first everyone's trying to hide what happened, but then it comes out, and now they're trying to hide it from the police. and hijinks around, and it's a lot of people who got all dressed up thinking they were going to have a very affluent, very snooty kind of party, but it devolves into something crazy. And we all, at one point, we all end up on the floor, and it's just, well, and it's a lot of fun, and it's very funny.
Jim, let me ask you your advice for the performer that is watching us now, and I get many performers that do watch the program. What would your advice be to pursuing an acting career? What were some of the things that you did along the way?
Well, I think if you're going to get into the theater, I think you do need to seek training. You know, that would be my advice. There's always going to be examples of people who manage to kind of either through great charisma or being extremely attractive or something like that have gotten work. But the theater, you do have to know what you're doing. You do have to. There's like if you're going to do Shakespeare, you have to know how to do iambic pentameter, and there's just some things. I think you and also the New York theater scene is very resume strong. So I would seek training, go to a good school. I would seek management, seek out management, do a lot of work on the you know, getting your resumes done properly, getting your photos done properly, getting management set up, you know, barrage people with messages, talk to everyone you can talk to. Go to as many, I mean, sometimes things like Equity and SAG, Screen Actors Guild, they have parties, they have social events. Go to those and talk to as many people as possible. If you do the other route where you're going to go out to LA and get into movies, it's all about networking. It's all about who you know. But in terms of if you love it and you love what you're doing, I mean, go, you know, by all means, go. If there's, and I'm going to say something a professor once said to me, if there's something else you really would love to do, if you would love to be a doctor, if you'd love to be an attorney or something like that, you know, maybe that would be something you'd want to pursue. But if this is your truly what makes you get up in the morning, then by all means, go hog out, give it your best. I'm going to give you the same advice I would give you if you're going to an audition and you're nervous about you know, do the best you can and let go of the outcome. Don't worry about the outcome. The outcome is going to be whatever it is. Just as long as you did the work up front, you're good.
And Debbie, I'll ask you the same question again, pursuing an acting career. What would your thoughts be, your advice for the performer that's watching this program right now, how to get involved in being an actor?
Oh, sure. I couldn't agree more with Jim as far as getting some training. Just even simple classes like improv and dance or just all these different things like that, they do make a difference and they give you confidence and they really kind of help you with the unexpected. And I do recommend getting out there and auditioning for as many shows as you possibly can. Just get your face out there, even I think sometimes if you're not right for it. Just you have to get out there and try, and that experience, even if you're rejected, that's okay. You know, you move on, you brush yourself off, and you go on to the next one that you will be fit, right for.
Debbie, let me also ask you if you know the website address is cheneyhall.org. What will the viewer find if they visit the website? Do you know?
Oh, yes, I certainly do. You're going to find all kinds of things there. You're going to find not only our main stage productions, you can also get, which would include our 2026 subscription, so you can learn all about that there. Plus, we are doing 21 tribute concerts this year, so we're just getting started listing all of those on there. So that's, about 10 of them are on there right now. You're also going to find out ways that you can become involved, like volunteer or membership. There's all kinds of opportunities on the website for you to learn about us and our history. We have a lunchtime lecture coming up about rumors on January 28th. So you can join us live on Facebook for that. That's at noon on January 28th. Yeah, so there's all kinds of information on there. Cheneyhall.org.
Yes, cheneyhall.org, yes, and the viewer will be very interested to visit it. I visited it, was full of information.
Yes.
Jim, Your thoughts
Yes.
about auditioning for other shows. Do you know of other shows that are coming up that you'd be interested in?
Well, at Cheney Hall, it meant they're doing 12 Angry Jurors soon, and I was looking at that. I mean, that was certainly something I'd be interested in. I mean, did you mean with other companies too, or just with Little Theater?
Well, I was speaking. I was speaking of the Little Theater of Manchester.
Yeah.
If there were plays that were coming up that would interest you.
Oh yes, there's I think Once Upon This Island is coming up. There's another play that is between Once Upon an Island and maybe Debbie can help me with that one. It takes place at a gallery.
Yeah,
Yes.
Waverly Gallery.
Waverly Gallery, yes. I looked at the description. I don't know because of my age if there would be a part I'd be good for. But this is a little bit of advice, like Debbie said. Sometimes it's best to just go and audition. They may see something they like, and even if you're not exactly, what the description of the character is, you could still get it. So those are two. The Waverly Gallery and 12 Angry Jurors I'd be interested in. I can't sing to save my life, so musicals are out of the question. But yeah, there's always great stuff coming up there.
And Debbie, how about you? Any plays coming up at the theater that you might be interested in auditioning for after Rumors is completed?
I think I'm going to take a break for a little while because I do spend so much time here during the day. So then, I turn around and come back at night. So I'm going to take a little break for a little while, and we'll see what happens over the course of the year. Maybe I'll get some evenings at 7 opportunities, or maybe some other theater companies in Connecticut. I'll look around for those opportunities.
And I'll ask you both, what about your future in theater? Will you be staying at the theater and auditioning and performing there, or are you looking at other theaters to pursue? Debbie, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think I'm going to take a little break, but I definitely going to keep my eyes open because I haven't done a lot of theater outside of the Little Theater of Manchester, so I'm excited to kind of get my feet in there and see what I can do. So, oops, sorry, the curtain just fell down.
Oh, that's okay. We can see you still as clear as day.
Okay.
And Jim, how about you? What are your thoughts about auditioning? Will you stay at the Little Theater of Manchester, or will you look at other theaters?
Well, I think you always, I mean, yes, I'll definitely be auditioning for those shows at the Little Theater, but there's other theaters that are doing work, and you do want to break it up, and you want to, to work with some new people and maybe see their, different kinds of audiences, different, more diverse audiences, whatever. You might want to try new plays that are a little more, experimental, and because I've worked at Hole in the Wall and a couple of other theaters like that, which are kind of a challenge, but and anything comes there. You can audition for the Hartford Stage Company, and you'll get, if you get lucky and you get in there, you get equity credit for that. Yeah, I'm going to keep doing it. I keep saying I'm going to take a long break, and every time I say that, I end up auditioning. So yeah,
Jim, have you thought about other mediums besides theater, television, film, video, commercials?
Yeah, absolutely. I have a friend that's had a lot of luck with a management company, and I'm going to talk to them soon. You'd be doing commercials locally at this point, for like Bob's and stuff like that. But I mean, I'm certainly looking at. I'm past the age where I'm going to try and go out and have a career as an actor. But I'm going to see what I can do, and you never know. Keep my hand in it.
And how about you, Debbie? Any thoughts outside of pursuing theater, film, television, commercials, video? Any interest at all?
I'm always interested in voiceovers and that sort of thing because I do have this kind of crazy voice, so I try to embrace that where I can. But for the most part, I get my fill of arts here every day, so I'm very blessed that way. So I think for the moment I'm just going to kind of lay low. But yes, always, you never know. Keep your options open.
Well, we are just about out of time, so I want to thank both of you so much for being here, and congratulations. Good luck with Rumors, and again, that's coming up at the Little Theatre of Manchester at Cheney Hall. Neil Simon's Rumors, February 6th through the 22nd. And Jim
Absolutely.
and Debbie, thank you again for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. It's been great.
And I'm Deborah Gilbert. You've been tuned in to Arts and Entertainment. In case you need to reach me, I'm at artsandentertainment@mail.com. Well, I hope you have a super day today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you've enjoyed the show. I'll see you next time.
Thank you.